Harry, I want to retire. I'm too old for this. Then go home, Malcolm. Go home and rest.
Sarah Carpet.
Living with cause replacement at Grosvenor Square, right? If you really are the new broom, it's time to start sweeping away the rubbish.
Where's the uranium? I won't tell you. There is a woman, though, who also knows what I want. She doesn't know. Sometimes it's the pain of others that can make people break.
What have you done with my family?
Your husband and the boy are about to die.
Harry!
I can't.
Please!
The uranium will be used to build a dirty bomb. It could kill thousands of children.
I can only see mine in front of me.
If you kill the child, it will be for gratification, but not for any purpose. Because I won't tell you if you do, or if you don't. Kill the man. This is all your fault, Harry! The boy, your...
Nico.
Yes.
His aunt came to take him home.
But you're the...
No, I'm not. I'm not anything, Harry.
George was your husband.
We were never formally married. There was no ceremony. We talked about it. Laughed about who we wouldn't invite.
Couldn't you go back?
What kind of a welcome party do you think they'll throw for me? You would have let him die.
I'm not asking for forgiveness,
What
Ruth.
are you asking for, then?
I came to tell you that I will sort something out for you.
Sort something out.
With regard to your status in this country.
You have a knighthood, Harry, and I'm dead. There's our status.
I want to make it better. And if you need work...
Oh, God.
Ruth, I'm trying. I'm trying. With all my limitations, which you know better than anybody.
Yes. Yes, well, thanks for that. Thanks for trying.
Welcome, children, to Western Sands and our presentation on energy. Britain used to have its own gas from the North Sea, but when that ran out, we had to start buying it from other countries. We get our gas in two forms, either through pipelines from Europe and Scandinavia, or in liquefied form on tankers from countries like Qatar. This brand new processing plant...
They look so bored.
Beat school.
Gas that goes straight to your homes, or fuels the turbines in our power stations that produce electricity. Change, which is why this new plant is also helping to save the Earth from overheating. Be sure your future is safe with us.
Please evacuate by the nearest exit.
The explosion that rocked the Western Sands gas processing plant has raised serious questions about Britain's energy suppliers. The Home Secretary, in a statement to the House of Commons, has said there is no reason for panic and that alternative supplies are on hand. There were no reported casualties in the explosion, and the emergency services are on site assessing the scale of the damage.
Did you see that American financier on Newsnight? Said that Britain wasn't worth investing in any longer.
I paid very little attention to the self-interested witterings of the Rentier class, Ros.
Ah, good.
Home Secretary.
Miss Myers.
Home Secretary. The blast at Western Sands was not terror-related, it was an accident.
In spite of every Tom, Dick and Osama claiming responsibility.
Our whole energy policy is based on importing and processing liquefied gas supplies.
The plant will be closed for at least 6 months.
We will only have enough gas to supply 20% of our power station needs. We will have to increase piped supply.
Norway?
Harry loves the Norwegians. The Christmas tree.
I make no apologies for appreciating the stability of a Scandinavian energy supplier.
They're already supplying most of the pipe gas that remains to us. Can't meet such a big increase in the short term.
The Russians?
Impossible. Their demands are not just financial, which leads us Tazbekstan.
Christ. The Tazbeks.
We have little choice. The Tazbeks are already in London and will need your close attention.
They have a new government. anxious to make friends.
They came to power in a coup, and their idea of good governance is to drop their political opponents into boiling water.
Might just be onto something with that last one.
How soon before we see the impact of the gas shortage?
Our reserves won't last more than a week. That must be kept from the press.
Without a quick deal, the immediate future is both very dark and very cold. No lights on that tree this year, Harry.
You spoken to Ruth?
Right now, my most urgent business is the gas crisis.
I can't believe they let that happen.
Bloody disgraceful. We didn't build up reserves when we produced the stuff.
Hey, Joe, way up!
Harry, are you okay? You've got a death wish.
Came out of nowhere.
You look all right. And that your bite, which is a write-off, I think.
That's my social life sorted for the next 2 weeks. Come on, want to walk in with somebody on my first day?
What is that?
Marcus replacement. Joe's been showing them the ropes. Line my roles, service modernisation.
Tell them to lose the T-shirt. We're not the bloody enemy awards. OK, Rustam Yorosov is the Tazbek Trade and Industry Secretary, our biggest potential headache. From now on, his code name will be Thumper.
We have intelligence that Thumper's going to spice up his visit by taking out this woman. Bibi Saparova. She's an exiled poet from a prominent Tazbek family that Thumper waged a personal vendetta against.
Why?
Well, they're everything he's not. Educated, liberal, arty, and half Russian.
Thumper hates Russians, full stop.
Her father was imprisoned and tortured. Her mother killed herself and her younger sister was murdered. Bibi's the last of the Saparovas and the missing head in his trophy cabinet.
She's also the bloody nuisance organising these protests at the Tazbek delegation's hotel.
Good-looking exiled poet. Goes down well in Hampstead.
Yeah, well, I'm not having her disrupting such important talk. I mean, how did she even know where the delegation was?
OK, she might be a pain, but letting Thumper wipe out his enemies on our soil is taking hospitality a bit far, I'd have thought.
So let's keep Bibi out of the picture. I want to know everywhere she goes and everyone she talks to. Nothing and nobody gets in the way of their signature on that document.
Thank you so much for coming. We are so pleased to see you.
Очень рад с вами познакомиться. My Prime Minister, he does not speak such good English.
Thank you for translating. And please congratulate him on his new job. Big step up from the cotton factory, I'd imagine. This is Eliza McFarlane, my assistant. She'll be your point of contact here.
Hello.
I am always happiest in the company of a beautiful woman.
You speak very good English, Mr. Yorosov.
It is still the language of the world, no? I know that your banks are only kept afloat by the state. You don't make anything anymore. Even the Polish plumbers have gone home. But while the English language survives...
We're marginally better off than Tazbekistan?
Yeah. Who is this?
This is Sir Harry Pierce. Stalks the corridors of power, spreading good cheer.
Yes, Harry, a sense of humor is very important in time of crisis. And you really do have the crisis.
I think the fact that we need your gas is not going to be something we're trying to conceal in these negotiations, Mr. Urusov.
Doing business with you will enrage the Russians, of course. They'd much rather we did a deal with them.
Except they will demand every firstborn British child in return.
We'd certainly rather deal with more reasonable people like yourselves.
Well, you know what they say about my enemy's enemy, Mr. Home Secretary. You know, we did have some protesters at our hotel. I was surprised at this.
We'll find you a better hotel.
Why do you not have the Tower of London to throw your troublemakers in anymore?
Still using it for our football team after the last World Cup.
Ah, football. If only everything was so simple.
Look, I'm sorry about what happened to our deal with the uranium. I was overruled.
Very ungrateful of Harry. But I'm glad you didn't send Roz this time.
But I'm glad you're not holding a grudge.
Ooh, I didn't say that. But I'm the agency's liaison officer, so here we are, liaising.
So, what was it you wanted to liaise about?
Word is, you've secretly flown in a delegation from Tazbekistan to discuss an emergency energy deal.
We were aiming for low-key rather than secret.
We don't like that regime, or their human rights record.
Wow. A lecture from the Americans about ethical trade policy.
Hey, we're the good guys now. Why don't you go to the Russians?
Because the Russians will try to screw us on price.
Well, the Tazbek Trade and Industry Secretary is a rapist and a murderer.
We know all about Mr. Urusov's past.
Watch Rustam Yorosov. One of our assets tells us he's plans for an old enemy over here.
Visual on BB. Over to you, Echo 4.
Copy that. She's going back to the internet cafe. Comms are up.
Hello.
Bibi, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
How come we couldn't meet at your house?
I am certain MI5 had me bugged. My wife teases me, says I'm paranoid.
Just because you're paranoid?
What did you want to talk to me about?
I have it from a very good source. That Rustam Orzov is going to try and kill you while he's here. You may not get much protection from the British state. I also hear that we're going to call for the lifting of the EU weapons embargo against Kazakhstan in return for their gas.
Where's he getting this information from?
Do we have an ID on this guy, Bravo 1?
Thanks. Matthew Plowden. He's a freelance journalist.
You should think about lowering your profile.
He's destroyed my family. I have nothing left to lose.
Your life?
I'm not frightened anymore.
You're brave.
I'm not frightened, but that isn't the same as brave.
It's a disgrace that we're rolling out the red carpet to these murderers, but I'm going to make sure that everybody knows what's going on.
We're going to have to deal with this. He could cause us some real problems.
Thank you for your help, Mr. Plowden.
I'm only doing what's right.
Bye.
Bye.
Visual on Bibi, heading west on Clement Street. She's picked up a tail.
Description?
White male, blue jacket.
You take the journalist, I'll deal with Bibi.
She's turned south on Drummond. The tail's still with her. He's closing on her Alpha 1. This looks like a hit.
God, are you all right? Don't worry, I'm a nurse. I'll deal with it. It's fine. Tell me who you work there. Go near Bibi again and I'll bring my people next time.
Another word.
Who are you?
Quick chat in the diary room, Mr. Plowden.
Why are you harassing me?
They'll be dying of envy over at the New Statesman. Badge of honour.
You've had a file on me for years.
Well, think of the satisfaction you can have telling your wife she was wrong. It was only our last conversation. Honestly, come on, I just want to talk to you.
We'll talk over there, if you don't mind.
All right. Watch out for snipers. Look, nobody wants to be cozying up to the Tazbeks, but the energy situation is dire.
Not as dire as the Tazbek human rights record. But who cares when cheap gas is at stake, right?
If our power stations stop running, we can kiss goodbye to economic recovery and people will die.
People who matter will die, you mean? British people as opposed to foreign people from some faraway place.
Well, luckily my job description means I don't have to worry about British deaths, Mr. Plowden. I'm advising you not to interfere any further in this matter.
Or I'll get a midnight knock on the door.
No, I think Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs tend to call during office hours. Hopefully it'll be a real charmless job's worth. So, who's been feeding you your information on Tazbekistan?
Reveal my source to MI5? Of course I will.
Okay. Good time to organise a receipts box. And every single income statement.
I shall be posting this conversation on my blog as soon as I get inside.
Bloody internet.
You know he's going to kill her, don't you? Bibi Sakarova.
I want to know where Plowden is getting his information. I want Bibi to shut up and I want leverage over the Tazbeks.
I just think we have things in this country that they don't have in Tazbekistan. And giving them up for gas, it just offends my sense of national dignity.
You know that the gas running out will lead to more deaths than any terror attack Al-Qaeda have mounted so far. No campaigning journalist nor poet with a grudge is going to threaten our energy security while you and I have anything to do with it. Are we in agreement about that?
Absolutely.
So who was tailing Bibi Saparova then? Tazbek hit team?
Looks like they were trying to abduct her rather than kill her. I'm assuming they wanted to deliver her to Thumper personally.
Well, we can't let that happen.
Have you seen Harry's mood recently? He'd see protecting Bibi as a luxury the nation can't afford right now.
Ross, Harry's always troubled. He chooses his frown with his tie in the morning.
No, this is different. He still hasn't resolved the situation with Ruth, and until he does, he'll take an even grimmer view of any human rights activists or lefty journalists that get in the way of the energy crisis talks than I do.
Oh, come on, it can't be that bad.
The government has described as malicious tittle-tattle rumours that it's to call for the lifting of an EU arms embargo in Tajikistan. Campaigning journalist Matthew Plowden, however, told this programme earlier that the Tajik human rights record won't go away just because we've messed up our energy policy and need their gas.
Bloody hell.
What is it?
Some awkward squad MPs putting down an early day motion about our deal with Tajikistan.
Saying what?
Cleverly worded, setting out a general marker about a concern for human rights in any agreement.
This is that journalist, isn't it?
I've got that internet cafe on a permanent pickup now, and I know every time he logs in there.
Why does he log in there? He's using his own computer.
Makes him feel all Woodward and Bernstein, probably, even though it's miles easier for us to monitor him in a public place.
Keep a close eye on him, Tarek. I want to know who told him about us getting the EU arms sanctions lifted.
He uses social networking sites a lot, and I'm guessing the source is one of his online friends.
Find out who that is. Joe, can you go and visit Bibi and keep her quiet before she gets herself killed? Try and persuade her to take a long holiday or something until these negotiations are concluded.
Sure. Miss Saparova?
Yes?
I'm Gabby Fuller from the Metropolitan Police. Can I have a quick word?
Yes.
Thank you. You could be at risk if you continue to campaign against Rustam Orazov's presence in this country.
Britain's new best friend.
I'm trying to help you.
I don't need your help. I need justice.
I understand
You
that.
understand nothing. The boys from the estate. They sometimes come and do this because they know I live alone.
If you keep following Orazov around, your life will be at risk.
And if he had killed every member of your family, would you just shut up and go away?
We're running on empty now, Harry. A few days at best.
What will you do? We'll start with a program of rolling power cuts. 3 to 5 hours in different places.
It's been costed?
Billions off the economy, a huge blow to investor confidence.
The deal is going ahead, though.
Slowly.
But it's our last hope now. The Taziks can sense our desperation and have started to up their demands.
Time's running out. We must take the initiative, so I want to know what the Tazbek delegation is saying outside of the negotiations.
Bugging the hotel isn't an option, but we're looking into other possibilities.
Strip joints, basically. Taking one for the team there, Lucas? We know the Taziks are using the strip club for post-negotiations R&R. We know that it's a mafia haunt, so that it's likely that we'll find Thumper's hitman there.
Okay, I'm going to take a look. Check out the possibility of fitting some listening devices. Tarek's pretty good with the tech stuff. He built the miniature high-resolution camera into my watch.
Yes, we've got it now.
The hitman is Gozguli Garadanov. He runs drugs and girls out of the club, old army buddy of Thumper.
I think we'll know him as Flopsy. He was the one who was tailing Bibi.
I think they're lining something else up. Thumper had a copy of the newspaper that Plowden writes for.
Did I not say to shut that bloody journalist up? We're supposed to be MI5, not the Stoke Newington branch of the Green Party. I'd like to think we can play a little dirty sometimes.
Thumper's the one who's playing dirty. He thinks because we need his gas that he can do what he likes.
Yeah, well, to a point, he's right.
Okay, I'll go lean on Plowden a lot harder. Let him know what the score is.
Threaten his career and livelihood. That often does the trick with soft-centred media types.
Shall I speak to Thumper? Warn him off?
We're supposed to be special advisor to the Home Secretary.
He knows what I am. He's not stupid.
All right. But very, very delicately, Ross. Let me be absolutely clear. Our energy security trumps everything at this point.
You might want to take a look at this.
What is it?
The lip reading software from the strip club. It's given us a live translation from the Russian, but I think they're coded.
Talking in euphemisms. Because of Plowden's press campaign against them. They're going to take him out. Where is he now?
We're running a tracker on his mobile and playing it through CCTV feeds.
Do it quicker.
He's going to the internet cafe. Maybe he wants to meet with Bibi.
They're starting to pick off their targets. Stay in contact.
Lucas, Plowden's back in the cafe. Keep a visual on him. I'm nearly there. Yeah, will do. He's, hold on a minute, but... Lopsy's in the cafe.
Get him out of there now. Warn him.
Lucas, you're too late.
Do you have any plans for tonight, Mr. Yurosov?
Do you?
I'm not really one for the nightlife.
You're worried for me, no?
Why do you say that?
That your eyes keep looking to the door. It seems the Russians will send somebody after me.
It's a distinct possibility, yes.
I like to think it is because you have, what is the expression? You have taken a shine to me.
I'm married.
You know, I did hear about the journalist that was killed. The one spreading lies about me.
Yes.
And his widow is saying that it was the British security services.
We don't usually kill troublesome journalists.
Yeah, not everybody has the freedoms we have in my country.
You don't have carte blanche, Mr. Yurosov.
What will you do? Send us home and say you no longer need our gas? Of course, I know I don't have carte blanche.
Good.
But I would also expect you not to pay too much attention to my business activities here at such a delicate time in talks. I must take them out, entertain them, find them girls.
Would you like any additional security?
Don't you worry about the Russians. We know them a lot better than you do. Good evening.
The point is, Matthew Plowden was a British citizen.
Plowden stood up and painted a massive target on himself. Now, sometimes you get a press award, sometimes you get something quite different.
The person who had him killed is openly gloating about it. It'll be BB next.
I know that, Joe, and I have told Thumper that he does not have carte blanche.
Thumper is making it quite clear what the price of keeping him on board
Yeah,
is.
and that's a price that keeps going up.
But without the Tazbek gas, we'll pay a much higher price. Besides, Bibi Safarova is not a British citizen.
Harry?
The Tazbeks have started to stall at the talks. We need their gas. We do not need more obstacles.
Are you saying that BB is a price worth paying? That we should just look the other way?
Operational matters are down to you. But I do not want the talks jeopardized. I am also still waiting to hear what the Tazbek delegation is saying away from the negotiating table. Now, these are your priorities, not some bloody poet who's ignored every warning we've given her.
Can I have a word? I went through all Plowden's online friends and kept his status open, posted a few things to suggest he's still alive, and carry on drawing in his contacts.
Nice. Any response?
There was only one of them I couldn't hack into, Violet Franklin. Her status was protected with encryption devices you really wouldn't expect on a social networking site.
Violet Franklin.
But once I'd hijacked his status, I was able to get a location from which he posted, even though I couldn't read the message. The American Embassy.
Nice work, Eric. I'll set up a meet. You fed the journalist.
Franklin was my favorite American president, of course.
Violet.
I just like the name and the flower.
Why did you do it?
Because you needed a lesson for double-crossing me. Made it a bit hard for you to catch me, but not impossible. I like our meetings.
This isn't a game, Sarah. Rustam Urazov had the journalist killed.
Now you know what you're dealing with, don't you?
All this to make the point that you're just a bit pissed off with us. Bryn's on the brink, and you're playing out a grudge.
I could never have done this unsanctioned. Nobody wants your sordid little deal to go through. On this one, we are in total agreement with the Russians.
Well, that's good to know. The world's gone bipolar again.
You think the Russians are going to allow a hardline nationalist regime to flourish in Tajikistan?
Sarah.
You think we're just going to let them cozy up to Iran and China?
You stay out of this. If you interfere again, I will...
Don't do such things. What they are yet, I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. Come on, Lucas, stay. Let's talk. Hey, don't ignore a friend's request.
with great regret that I must inform the House that the rolling power cuts will be from 3 to 5 hours. I cannot pretend there is an early solution to the problem that faces us, although I can promise this House that this government is pursuing every option available to us, and I hope to have good news to bring to the House very shortly.
The Tasbecs are stalling. These power cuts will weaken our position. We'll be completely over a barrel.
So, how do we square this circle?
Okay, let's start by giving Harry what he wants. Get the intelligence on what the Tasbecs are doing behind the scenes.
I'll get back to the club. It's swept for bugs, but Tarek thinks he can beat that.
And Bibi? Look, Joe, I am sick of hearing about Bibi Saparova. If you want to make her your personal cause célèbre, then you go right ahead. But you definitely do not have my blessing, and I definitely do not want to hear another word about it. Do you understand?
All right.
Matthew Plowden was a really good man. Cared about a country that is more fashionable to make jokes about.
We tried to warn him, Bibi. Just like we're trying to warn you.
And? Do you feel proud? That Urazov is able to do this on your soil?
This isn't as straightforward as you're trying to make out. We need the gas right now. And I'm trying to protect you, Bibi. I can't do that, though, unless you lower your profile. No. Stop being so stubborn. It's as if you want to be his victim.
I'm already his victim. My sister's name was Artin. It means golden. And she was the golden girl in our family.
She's beautiful.
Urazov held her for a week. Raped. Tortured. Raped again. More torture. You can't imagine such things. Then she was killed. And her broken body was left at our doorstep. I found it.
I know that feeling. My name's Joe Portman. I work for MI5. I won't let him hurt you. Thanks for coming.
How's it all going?
How's it all going? Well, the gas negotiations are underway.
Saw the Home Secretary on TV. We're in a very bad place right now.
The hidden price for our salvation is that we have to turn away while a rapist and murderer gets to pick off his opponents on our soil.
Harry okayed that?
Harry's not himself right now.
What do you want from me?
Talk to Harry.
Isn't that a rather insulting idea to Harry? You think he makes policy decisions based on his emotional state of mind?
No, I'm not saying that. But no one's better than you at putting across a different perspective.
It doesn't always work. Believe you me.
He's hurting about what happened.
And I'm not. I lost my family, my home.
Harry wasn't the one who lost them for you. He did the right thing under intolerable pressure.
Maybe he's doing the right thing now, then.
No, this is different. But I think that he's locked into thinking it's the same.
And you want me to explain that?
We've missed you, Ruth. We've missed you badly, but no one more than Harry. We shouldn't be sacrificing this girl, no matter how bad the crisis. Please talk to him.
We need to talk.
Glad you said that.
I'm sorry. I blamed you for what happened. It wasn't fair.
I'm sorry too, Ruth. I'm sorry for everything, really. Truly sorry.
More trouble for the government today as the Home Secretary admits the gas shortages may be more serious than we originally thought. The opposition has accused him of misleading the House of Commons and taunted the government as being more empty and exhausted than our gas reserves. Meanwhile, health experts are warning that the death toll could reach into the high thousands as homes are deprived of heat and light.
Turning to the Tasbecs was a bitter pill. but one we were prepared to swallow because we thought we would get cheap gas fast.
You said the talks would be a formality. What's the obstacle?
Every time we get close, that smarmy little shyster throws in a new demand.
Smarmy little shyster being?
Eurozov, of course. He's following his own agenda. Why aren't your people doing their job and finding out what that is?
I think he has several agendas.
We can't have come this far to end up with nothing. In 36 hours, the lights go out. And that will make the banking crisis look like a walk in the park if we don't get it sorted. Fast.
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
That is an unbelievably clear reception.
Club is swept for fixed posts, but I think we have a good chance with this one.
Excellent. Well done.
Oh, one of the lucky ones. I love the job.
Good. If you want to keep it, use the T-shirt. I've got something for you.
Ну что, мой друг, о чем же ты хотел поговорить?
Please,
Speak in English. I don't want my delegation to understand.
Okay. You want a girl?
What, some Moldovan peasant girl just off a truck. No, before I leave, I pluck myself an English rose.
How are negotiations going?
If my prime minister have his way, we sign tomorrow.
And you?
The British are arrogant. I like to make them squirm right at the last moment.
The journalist was not a problem.
Good. He will be well paid. But you know the real prize, yeah? Elsa Parava. And take your time with her. And bring me something for my home movie collection.
What's happening?
Back on you mean.
You know you should come home soon. Things are going to get very interesting.
When it all starts, I will come home.
That bastard sitting alone over there. He's Russian, you think? FSB?
Because they're discussing your presence. Duck out of there fast.
So, there will be war back home.
There will be a conflict with our autonomous region. 6 months maybe before they force us to stop the fighting. Then in that time, people like you will make a lot of money, kill a lot of peasant trash, enjoy their wives and daughters.
And when they force us to stop?
Then I will become prime minister, a man of peace and reconstruction. And all international aid will flow into all the right places.
The Russians?
One must always watch the Russians. They also want our gas. But they will be pragmatic in the end, especially now we have friends in the European Union.
This man is a Central Asian Hitler in the making. Be a bloody horrible mess. Paramilitaries, looting, raping. There'll be massacres on both sides. I underestimated him, and I made the wrong call on Bibi Saparova.
We still have the problem of needing their gas.
Then we take him out.
We take out the Tazbek Visiting Trade and Industry Secretary.
You want to go back to Plan A? Let him kill the girl?
I always prefer not to play off the back foot, you know that.
He's the fly in the ointment. He's the one stalling the negotiations in order to obtain the maximum advantage for his war. The Tazbeks would have signed 48 hours ago without Eurozov in the way. We still have a chance of getting our gas supplies and stopping the carnage he wants to unleash.
It can't be seen to be us. Not by the Tazbeks and not by our own government.
The Tazbek delegation have already refused our protection, right?
That's true. Thumper specifically told me that they could deal with the Russians.
If we obviously had nothing to do with it, why would they blame us?
It's very risky.
No, it's brilliant. You'd have to explain that there'd be consequences, though, if it's to be done properly.
You know what I'm thinking, then?
I have a fairly good idea, yes.
There would be a trial afterwards.
There would have to be, I'm afraid. And prison. Maybe 10 years.
already knew what my answer would be.
She agreed?
She'll take the punishment to kill the man that did that to her sister.
She has a great motive for killing him, and everybody will think the FSB were helping her.
She'll say anything we want her to say afterwards. There'll be no comeback on us.
All right, but it won't be easy. For a start, how do we set the honey trap and get him into a different hotel room?
You heard what he said about the English Rose. I think Joe just about falls into that category.
Cheers, Ross.
No worries.
Fine. But we'll also need eyes on the corridor, keeping watch for bodyguards. Worth breaking him in with something simple. Got to learn about multitasking.
Young, scruffy, minimum wage written right across his forehead. Perfect.
Hey?
How are the negotiations?
As well as can be expected. These things always take longer than you think.
I do hope you're not playing games with us, Mr. Urison.
Oh, you still don't want to play games. What a shame.
On that subject, there's a young lady across the bar who's making eyes at you.
Not my type.
No?
Sexy blonde in a bar has Moscow all over it.
You think? She's heading for room 627. And I assure you, Mr. Urison, the only Russian you'll find in Camilla Hamilton Blythe's DNA is likely to be Romanov and predate 1917. And we like to keep our guests comfortable.
This is, very generous. Thank you. Please.
They're in the room.
Copy that.
Take your dress off. Leave everything else on. Then come here.
What are you doing?
Vivi.
Trap sprung off for one. As soon as shots are fired, I'll let you know.
Copy that. What are you doing? Listen, Vivi. Vivi, this is crazy. You can't do this. Vivi, please.
I can't do it.
Okay.
I can kill somebody.
Just give it to me, eh?
For your sister.
Miserable whore.
Shots fired, Alpha 1. Send in the clowns.
No, please don't.
Something's wrong. Joe's in trouble.
Please.
Oh, no.
More shooting in the room, Alpha 1. Something's wrong.
So we start the rumours that she was almost certainly being manipulated by the FSB.
That's already been put to the Tasbecs.
So they're not blaming us?
Why would they? They knew what Thumper was like when it came to the ladies. He was the one who told the bodyguards to stay downstairs.
Their Prime Minister is now very anxious to sign and get home before he meets a similar fate. Well done, everybody. Looks like we have our deal.
Awful news about the shooting of that chief negotiator by the Tazbek dissident.
We strongly suspect she was being manipulated by the Russians.
Indeed. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. Our own Foreign Secretary would have liked to attend, but has unfortunately been caught up in the latest Middle East.
Who sent them the photos?
Must have been the Russians.
They got a photograph of Joe with Bibi inside the house. How did they get that? We had a counter-surveillance team watching the whole time.
Play for time. Insist they're forgeries.
The Tazbeks will already have had the photographs checked out. And how did they get pictures of you inside the flat?
The kids at the window.
I need justice. It's the boys from the estate. They know I live alone.
What? Kids from the estate hassling Bibi. They came banging on the window. She said they always did it.
I bet they're not there now.
FSB must have been watching Bibi in case they did decide to use her.
So, how do we get out of this one?
We'll have to go to the Americans.
Last time I checked, there wasn't a gas pipeline across the Atlantic.
The Americans can broker a deal. The Russians are our only option now. It's what they wanted all along, a great big Cossack boat over our throat.
We can't even begin to negotiate with the Russians.
This is what I mean. We'll have to get the Americans to go to the Russians on our behalf.
With what? What are we offering?
The intelligence we have, that the Tazbeks are planning a war on their autonomous region.
They probably already suspect that.
Yeah, but they don't know the details of Thumper's little plan. Obviously, we'll have to gild the lily, but it's an opening gambit at least.
The Russians will never just settle for that.
Obviously not, but we can at least get the ball rolling with the suggestion that we can give them something.
All right. I'll go and talk to Sarah Caulfield, see what they say at least.
Here we are. Hey, Lucas. My boss.
Samuel Walker. Given the hard task of trying to keep an eye on this one.
I don't envy you.
Hey, enough of the compliments. So we've spoken to the Russians on your behalf.
Thank you. And?
It was an audacious gamble taken out your resolve. Shame it backfired on you.
But they, like us, are not unhappy with this removal, so you haven't lost any friends that way.
On our offer?
They like your offer, and are keen to talk about what you know.
You can have gases from tomorrow at a similar price the Tazbeks are offering you. Small markup, because you did hurt their feelings not going straight to them.
Oh, they're very sensitive that way, aren't they?
As always with the Russians, though, the devil's in the detail. They have one further requirement.
And what would that be?
They want the Tazbek Prime Minister.
What?
He leaves on a secret flight from Britain. They want details of that flight.
So what, they're going to shoot his plane down?
No. But they are going to explain to him in their own good time what will happen if he continues to follow an agenda they consider hostile to their interests.
So they hijack the plane, force it to land?
As I say, Lucas, the devil is in the detail. I'd leave that part to the Russians.
We've had our backs right up against the wall, and you and the Russians have been watching and playing us the whole time.
Hey, you did the world a great favor. You did the right thing. Everybody's happy. Now you have gas. We don't have yours off.
And we're all working together. It's like Yalta all over again.
Dear Miss Boatman, I'm sorry that I couldn't get to know you better. I think in a different world we might have even been friends. But the sorrow in my heart is too great for me to continue now. I wanted you to know, however, that I appreciate your efforts on my behalf. Thank you. Bibi.
Harry.
You went and spoke to Ruth, didn't you?
Yes.
What did you hope to achieve by that?
I thought you were wrong for turning a blind eye to Bibi. There are some lines we should not cross, in my opinion.
You were right. I didn't think it through properly.
She should come back to us. If you talk to her...
She's extremely fond of you, Joe. She thinks the service needs more people like you. I can try and sort the logistical side of things out with the Home Secretary, but if you continue to meet her...
I'm happy to try.
Good. Don't go behind my back again, though. I'll have you deported to Tajikistan.
Understood.
The The energy crisis may have eased slightly, with reports that an unexpected deal has been agreed with the Russians to provide emergency short-term supplies. Ministers have dismissed opposition claims of chaos at the heart of government, with the Prime Minister saying he'll get on with running the country and ensuring economic recovery.
Is it done?
The Russians forced the plane to land about an hour ago.
They can be very persuasive in these situations.
Plague on both their houses. We have to look after ourselves now.
People have every right to be angry. We've let too much slide through our fingers.
Things will look better in a year's time. And a lot of people who would have died will now not die. It's breathtakingly simple sometimes.
Doesn't always feel that way.
Home Secretary, I have to talk to you about something that's not simple at all. Do you remember Ruth Evershed?
I've never seen London look so pretty.
Well, the gas is flowing again. We're laying in some proper reserves this time.
The lights don't stay on all by themselves. You gotta work hard at keeping a society going. Didn't see that one coming.
So what happens now?
Now?
In the next few hours?
I was presumptuous enough to book a hotel room when you called and asked to meet me.
That was presumptuous.
I understand codes. It's my job, really.
Which hotel?
Claridge's.
Good choice, my favourite.
We'll take separate cabs. Probably nobody's watching, but we lay out to the occasion.
Okay. What's the room number?
I forget. Just ask for Violet Franklin.
Not often we see you this time of night. Must be something important.
Do you think you're being bugged here? Spies listening to spies.
What are you worried about?
I've been approached.
By whom?
An American contact.
Name?
I can't, Harry, but somebody high up. He had grave concerns about a plot to challenge the world order as we know it.
A plot, as in?
He didn't go into specifics. But he talked about divisions in their intelligence services and a high-level meeting in Switzerland. I think he wanted me to warn somebody. So here I am, warning the somebody that I trust the most.
We'll look into it.
My contact is not a man prone to exaggeration. Whatever that meeting was about, whoever was involved, he made it sound very big. He was scared, Harry.
Rose, what's going on?
We have a security breach. At least 5 of them, heavily armed.
Everybody down on your knees! On your knees, I said everybody!
Someone's grabbed the Bendorf group.
Yes, they've also got rods.
Down on the floor against that wall.
Use this camera as your confession booth.
Every skeleton in the Pentagon's cupboard is being exhumed and paraded for public consumption.
We had nothing to do with creating this situation.
If you're not competent enough to deal with it, we will.
Storming would be suicide. I won't do it.
I'm ordering you to do it.
You have to help me.
CO-19 have arrived. They're preparing to move in. But what about Rose? She's still down there, Ruth.